Hey guys, so today we're playing Anime World, a tower defense game that has been around for quite a while actually now. It's been over a year, and with the recent downfall of Anime Adventures, we have a lot of new people starting out this game since it's a pretty good game actually, and we're gonna call those people Anime Adventures refugees. But anyway, so a lot of people are starting this game, they don't really know what's going on with the game. There is a lot of stuff in the game, there's a lot of mechanics and interactions that obviously you can't really learn overnight. But in this video we are gonna try to talk a little bit about 5 must-have units that you need to go for in this game. Now, disclaimer guys, there is no top, there is no best for the most part. There is, as I said earlier, a lot of mechanics and interactions in the game that pretty much make most of the units viable, must-have even. But in this video I tried to pretty much just compile 5 must-have units that you pretty much need, and they are used very often in a lot of scenarios. So the first thing that we're gonna start with is, if you just started the game, make sure you use all of the codes so you can get some units from the gacha banners where you just hatch. I'll put the codes in the screen right now, and we're gonna start with the video. So the first unit that we are gonna be talking about is gonna be Star Idol. Now, Star Idol, it's actually this unit right about here, the one that's dancing in the middle. I don't know what anime she is from, is a miracle unit. Miracle units are essentially crafted units, so you don't need to rely on RNG to actually get this unit. So we're gonna teleport over to the laboratory, and you see here, miracle creation. So if you scroll down here to this list, you'll see it here, right here, Shining Star Idol. Now, in order to actually craft here, you need a whole bunch of materials, so secret crystals and spirits are not really a problem. You basically just get those standardly just by hatching. Gold is also not really that much, 500,000. And then you just need a bunch of red and purple orbs, which you get in the element farms. That shouldn't be hard either. And the only thing that you need essentially to craft here is these 7 idol postcards. So in order to get those star idols, you want to go over here to the legend stages, and if you scroll all the way down, you'll see the idol concert. As you can see, the chances to get the cards are 40%, so they're pretty high. Now, if you do have somebody helping you that's actually strong enough, you should consider doing a challenger run first, because it gives you 1 permanent drop each run. And then you can just run Insane, which gives you 3 loots, plus 1 from the challenge. It's gonna give you 4 every time. Although, it's really not that hard of a grind. You only need literally just 7 cards to actually craft the unit, so that is pretty easy actually, and you shouldn't really have any problems with it. Very nice and easy. You see, the bosses literally just flopped in seconds. Unfortunately, in this particular scenario, I did not get a single one, but yeah, it's literally just 7 of those cards, and you have 40% chance on each and every drop, so it shouldn't really take you that hard. Now, what does Star Idol actually do? Let's hop on a training area, and I'm gonna showcase exactly that. Alright, so now that we're here, so Star Idol, why is she so important and why is she ranked in must-have units? So as you can see guys, Star Idol is a farm unit, furthermore. It starts out with 604 cash, and at max level she actually brings you up to 18.4k money every round, and that's not the primary reason why you actually bring her. She is a unit buffer. You see here, idol buff on the right side. It starts obviously scaling a lot less, but at max upgrade it increases your damage by up to 2.25x. So she is essentially both a buffer and a farm unit, and she is very important in almost every team setup actually. People just bring her all the time, unless you're playing like an Infinite where you bring other buffer units, so you don't really need to use her. But for the most part, she is completely broken and mandatory for every sort of form of content. Alright, for this next unit, we are gonna be actually going into damage units now, making it a little bit more fun. Supports are good, but for the most part, they're pretty boring units, I feel like. So this next unit we are gonna be talking about is gonna be Gilgamesh. So Gilgamesh, you can see him right here as well. He's pretty much a nuke unit. Now, what is a nuke unit? As the word says, it is literally a nuclear bomb unit. So once you evolve Gilgamesh, which we are going to talk about in a little bit, he actually unlocks an ability where he does the total damage that he has accumulated throughout the entire run to every single unit on the map, hence the name Nuke. He is probably the best nuke unit in the game besides Sid, but we're not really going to talk about Sid. Sid is a completely different beast, and he's a little bit harder of a unit to actually get. So we're just going to say that Gilgamesh is the best nuke for now, excluding Sid, obviously. If you actually watch the video on the unit, you will understand what I'm talking about, guys. But yeah, Gilgamesh is a little bit troublesome to Evo, but really not that hard compared to some of the other units in this list. He does actually require a lot of materials. Now, unfortunately, I have actually evolved him already, so I can't really show you the materials in the game, but this is a list of all the materials required, and what you're gonna notice is that most of those materials that are actually required to Evo Gilgamesh are found in a game mode called Crossover. Now, Crossover is an infinite game mode based on waves, and basically the longer you go, every wave has a chance of giving you the stuff. It does take a little bit of time, so if you do have help, because doing Crossover alone will take you ages, get some help, join some people, hop on Discord, and gather all of the materials to actually get them done. He's gonna be a super strong unit, and once you actually get evolved Gilgamesh, your team is gonna be pretty self-sufficient for the most part. You are gonna be able to solo a lot of things on Insane as well. Not everything, obviously, it depends on what kind of map, but he will allow you to actually solo a lot of those units. Alright, so now to showcase Gilgamesh, we're just gonna plant him right here. It's a single summon when he is actually evolved. So he starts off with 15.85 thousand damage, and if we go ahead and upgrade him all the way to the max, you see 1.16 million as a leader. That being said, he does have the raise attack passive. As you can see, his attack just increases every time he attacks units. So for example, if I just go ahead and, like, let's say summon a million units, like, as long as he attacks, you see his attack is gonna be going up. It does 4 ticks every time, as you can see. No matter how many units spawn, doesn't really matter. And the new ability that I was talking about, Rapture Sword, you see, take total damage to all enemies and reset total damage. So it accumulates the entire damage that you have done and just pretty much blasts it off to every single unit in the map. Let me see, can we stack up a little bit of damage? Okay, just gonna keep on doing this for a while. It's also a full AoE with a pretty big radius, 125, like this entire circle, full AoE, so he's definitely deserving of being one of the best units right in here. And just, okay, let's do this instead, because why not? So I'm just gonna spawn literally a trillion of those units. I have no idea how much HP they have. Okay, they actually have quite HP. Oh, that might have been a little bit stupid to actually showcase this. I might have added a little bit too many ones. Yeah, okay, this is not gonna happen. We are not gonna be nuking them, but yeah, you press the ability, see, it has it's pretty cool animation as well. And it just hits everything in the map for his total amount of damage done. Unfortunately, we failed it, but you get the point. Alright, so moving on, we are going to be taking a look at probably my favorite unit in the game, Megumi, which is a very weird unit in terms of how it works, and it's actually very cool. So Megumi right here is, I would argue it's probably the all-around best unit, as it does a little bit of everything. Like, this unit does damage to metal, it does damage to literally everything, and he's not your traditional unit where he does damage himself. As you can see, his attack damage is 0, and that is due to the fact that his damage is solely based on summons. So we do have a couple of units here that have summons instead of like actual damage, and let me just hop on real quick in a training just to showcase what I am actually talking about, as it's a lot clearer to understand. So his damage does not get affected by any sort of damage increase multiplier, and the only thing that actually affects it is just summon damage. That's why you've probably noticed, guys, when you do infinite waves, every 5 wave you have to choose like a buff. So 10% normal damage or range plus attack, etc. Well, one of the options, the last option, the green one, is actually summon damage, and that's pretty much what Megumi does. So see, if you actually zoom in, you can see his frog right here, which is how he starts off. He has 20k damage with 6 SPA, and that's how he works. So you see another frog right here, and then 2 more frogs for this one. And then we have Nue, the bird. Again, you have to play a little bit with the zoom to actually find her damage and be able to see it. Okay, there we go, see? 205k, again, 6 SPA, 150 range. So you can tell that he pretty much just covers the entire map, range-wise. And then you have another bird, and then we have the elephant. So if I just zoom in right here to actually find his tag, wherever it is. Okay, there we go. See, max elephant, 8 SPA, 90 range, 290k damage. So The unit is just flat out broken. And the next one is obviously his wolf. Now that is, up until here we are at first evolution Doji. The first evolution is pretty easy to get. I don't exactly remember what materials he needs for that. We can always like check the wiki and I'll just put it on the screen right now. But first evolution is pretty easy. It's the second evolution that's a little bit harder. And you see here, wolf, 120 range again, 6 SPA, 500,000, almost, well, 410k damage on his Shikigami, so pretty broken. And you see he also has a domain expansion activated ability, which increases the damage of all of his summons by 30% after you do 300 million total damage. And now, just to put the icing on the cake, guys, the last upgrade, you see it's pretty pricey as well, 425k. I think you can all guess what's coming. And let me actually do this cutscene story active. Gotcha. Wait, is that it? Okay, I'll just turn off VFX to hopefully showcase this properly. So if you hit the last upgrade, see, that's what's happening. There's also this crazy cutscene where he just spawns Mahoraga, as you probably guessed. And Mahoraga, guys, is a complete, utter beast of a unit. Essentially a beast. You see, 2.86 million damage, infinite range, 6 SPA, and the best part, excuse me, is this one. Mahoraga adapts to enemies by increasing his attack power with every wave. So when you're doing infinites of any type, whether that's crossover or elemental farm, this guy just gets stronger every round. I've seen him reach up to like 9-10 million damage, which is completely insane. And the best part about him, guys, this guy also attacks metal. So you can break him into Metal Rush if you are trying to farm gold. He just shreds into everything. Now, on a side note, I just want to let you know, guys, that there is a passive category. So speaking of categories and passives, his passive is actually resist. He's immune to stun effects, so your unit does not get stunned or anything. He just ignores everything. And there is a passive in the game that Geto actually has. So you see the Tamer passive, and what it does is it increases summon damage to enemies with Tamer tags. So essentially, if anything comes into Geto's range, they will get the debuff. Just well, is that even gonna help? Well, that's definitely gonna help. Okay, 555 million. You see, as soon as they walk into range, you see the Tamer debuff. So now this guy does 3 times, I believe, more damage. I think the multiplier is 3 times. So yeah, Megumi, by far my favorite unit in the game, by far. And I think it's all around the strongest probably unit in the game for the reason that I mentioned earlier. So super cool unit. Now, we also have the domain expansion. Let's just, I guess, hit 300 million damage. And we can press it. Nah, I don't think we're gonna actually make it in time. And another cool thing that Megumi has, which comes in handy at times, there is no food. Like, he doesn't lose any stamina. I know that obviously we're in training and there's no food affix here, like food doesn't work, but Megumi doesn't actually need any food to function since he works based on summons. Now, his second Evo is a little bit more troublesome, and obviously most of it comes from Toji's raid. Now, Toji's raid is a little bit annoying because he's one of the super bosses that actually can physically kill your unit, so you need to constantly run around. So he just teleports on you and actually does quite a substantial amount of damage. And if you look at the top right, you can actually see, you know, your classic Roblox avatar HP, I guess. So this is one of the bosses that you can't really AFK. You need to be there and you need to be running or you are gonna die. And I would advise, especially if you're soloing, which I don't think most of you will, because it's pretty hard, or even like if you do a trio, to not do this at 3x speed. It's really hard and it will be very easy to die. So yeah, pretty much just run around and wait until the guy dies. So you have to do this a whole bunch of times to actually get all of the materials. And for better or for worse, you are going to spend a lot of time in this raid because JJK has a lot of great units and you're going to need to evolve all of them. Alright, moving on, next unit in our list is gonna be Satoru Gojo himself. As you guys can tell, Jujutsu Kaisen units are all extremely good, and obviously Gojo had to be in this list. Now, what makes Gojo so OP is obviously his activatable, which we will check out in a little bit, but Gojo is basically a support that does pretty decent damage. And the best thing about him is that he has one of the best leader skills in the game. So in case you guys don't really know what leader is, I'm not really going to explain it in this video. Just click the question mark right here and it should explain to you. But he synergizes extremely well with units like Megumi, Geto, Yuta, etc. So he's a very good leader unit to use. One of the best in the game actually for certain combos. Because also Todo, for example, which I have on my mouse on right now, is another great unit that gets benefited by Gojo. So yeah, Gojo is again a 2-unit Evo. On the first unit, he just has his Void time stop. The Void, it's just a pretty much a time stop for a little bit, but once you actually Evo him, he becomes a lot crazier as a unit. So Gojo with the leader buff, obviously he's starting out with 16.75k damage. His passive is actually a slow, and if you level him all the way up, you have this pretty big range circle AoE, 500,000 damage done. So he's a pretty decent unit. He's a heal unit, and you see here he's infinite. It's actually a time stop, and he does have obviously red, purple, and blue. So I'm just gonna summon a whole bunch of units just to actually showcase this. How much HP do they have? Okay, 11 billion. It's not that bad. They might actually be able to die by the end of this. So you see, he does provide the knockback and the slows pretty good. And if I go ahead and use the Void, look at this, guys. It's a pretty cool looking thing. It might cause you severe symptoms of epilepsy, seizure, like some stuff that I don't like about but once the thing is actually done and the cutscene is gone, it does actually look pretty cool. So yeah, that's it. You see, we are in the, I guess, his domain expansion, so he does look pretty cool, and he just keeps on doing his thing. Pretty cool unit. One of the best supports that people always bring because of that huge time stop that he has. So definitely a great unit to add to your team. Now, for the last unit in this list, guys, I didn't really know what to put as a fifth, like, I guess, sort of a must-have unit. So in this one, we are gonna go with something to just round up our entire composition. And again, we're in the Miracle crafted units, and it's gonna be none other than Dark Flame Lover. So in order to craft DFL, you actually need a whole bunch of stuff. And oh, look at that! Actually, like the hollow shards, I didn't scroll that far down, so I guess I just have to jump real quick and farm them. So first of all, you need a couple of Dark Flame Masters and Tyranize. You actually do a little bit of damage with them, not really much of an issue. And again, a whole bunch of materials. All of those can be found in Crossover. This is obviously blue, and then it's purple. And then the hollow shards, you just need to do Katamura. So I'm gonna complete them real quick, and I'll see you guys in a second.
One eternity later.
Alright guys, so this should be wraps right here. We should have enough shards after this to craft our DFL. Now, DFL, not particularly crazy unit, but the reason why I put here is because of her passive, which is going to be Charm. Now, Charm, I think you guys can probably already tell what it is. It's sort of like a mini stun, but it's a different category. It just like makes units stop moving for a split second right there. And obviously, if that happens all the time, that is a complete game changer. So another one of the must-have units for like those really long infinite runs. So let's go ahead over to our laboratory. If it decides to ever work, there we go. And there we go. So craft. Okay, what's the animation? So our paths have finally crossed at last. There we go. DF Lover. Perfect. Oh, it's actually a purple one, okay. I didn't know she had a color. And let's go ahead and level him, her up, whatever. Go, you see the charm. Stop movements from unit. So there you go, you see the charm, stop enemies from moving. Let's go ahead to get some decent talents on this little guy, and we're gonna jump in a training just to showcase him as well. Oh my god, I actually hit another perfect roll. What the hell? Why don't I ever get those good rolls on like actual like carry units, and I get them on these? Like my first one that I got was actually on not on this guy, sorry, on my Megumi, and I was actually very happy until people told me that these don't matter because, as we said earlier, he doesn't do the damage himself. The summons do the only damage, so like this is kind of pointless. Both the RNG and the attack, only the cost is what mattered. So it was kind of sad of a moment, but yeah, this is actually my second perfect roll. And from what I've talked to people, they don't really seem to happen all that often. But anyway, let's go. Wait, I didn't equip him. Where are we going? Where are we going, guys? We didn't equip the unit. Okay, there we go. So that should be it. And let's just jump into the training section. And yeah, it's a must-have unit for those really, really long meta runs. It can definitely help by delaying the runs so long that you can squeeze in so much more damage, especially when you're trying to complete the damage tasks to evo some of the units. And let me just throw him down real quick right here. So you see, starts off with 8.75 thousand, and he does like 200k damage, so not really that big. Full AoE though, so that's pretty good. 300k full AoE is pretty decent. And okay, I have no idea what this buff is, low pressure. I guess it's just his evo. So how much should we do? 500, 500,000, 5 million, 50 million. Okay, what if we just do 50 million on each unit? And yeah, let's just see how he reacts when he attacks. There you see. So they're just frozen for like they're frozen for quite a while actually, which is crazy. So imagine that like doing this to every single unit across the span of a run. I don't really know how long the downtime is. I guess we're gonna figure that out together. And there you go, charm is down. Now, yep, there you go, another one. So you can tell that the unit is flat out broken. Just imagine what he does in an actual like full run. He helps so much, like the team. It's definitely a must-have and no regrets for putting him in the must-have section. So yeah, I just lost here intentionally. And just to cap off this video, guys, I'm gonna talk about some other support units that are very important to actually have, and those are obviously hatchable supports, so you can just open them when you go to the gacha with your puzzles. And yeah, there's gonna be some honorable mentions for this video before we cap things off. Now please load. So going here to my units, I'm not really gonna showcase them, I'm just gonna talk about them briefly. And yeah, waiting for load. Okay, there we go. So first unit that we are gonna be talking about, Yuta. Yuta is a really good unit. Again, it's an MR, it's a craftable unit. It is really good for setting up a time task to farm puzzles in crossover. I'm gonna make a video on that as well, so make sure you subscribe so you can watch that video. It's a very cool video. You can actually grind up to 50,000 puzzles in overnight while you're sleeping and 100 levels. Now, next unit, we talked a little bit previously about him. Geto is a tamer, so he buffs Megumi, which is very important. Now, on to the actual units that I want to talk about. We have Merlin, next up, the Flower Magician. So Merlin, what she actually does is she increases everybody's range. She is a must-have on like group environments. When you play with idle people, make sure to always bring one Merlin with you, and you will see people having her with her. Next up is gonna be Pim. Pim is a cleanse/healing unit. She heals the base, and obviously when the base is full HP, she just increases the max HP of the base. And she also has a cleanse ability. You probably noticed that your units get stunned very often from certain enemies on various game modes. And what she does is every 15 seconds, she just cleanses pretty much every unit in her range. So she's another must-have for a lot of game modes, because there are super bosses that actually damage you. So very good. And besides that, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of other good units that like Shusaku, if you evolve him, is actually a beast of a critical unit. Unfortunately, I don't have him evolved, but yeah, Overhaul does infinite damage literally when he's evolved. Todo Evolution 2 is very good. He's pretty hard to actually get Evo 2 because you have to do Evolution on Itadori twice, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Dark Flower is a tamer as well. She's when upgraded, she's actually better than Geto, unless Geto is buffed by other guys. So like if you have Gojo Leader, I think Geto is better. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the honorable mentions. I didn't really want to talk about. Obviously, Dennis, this guy is another must-have. I should have actually put him in the top 5. This is your support that actually farms money for you, besides the Star Idol. So he's definitely a must-have. If you have Dennis, just to make sure you level him up. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions about the game and units, etc., feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Regardless, I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.